Hey everyone, welcome back to the What Mariel Made podcast. I'm Mariel. I'm a knitter and a maker based out of Northern California, where I live with my husband and our dog Wally. Welcome back. I know it's been several weeks again. I think this is just becoming my normal cadence for uploading and filming. I have a lot to share with y'all. Honestly, I haven't really been knitting all that much just because I've been experiencing some like arm and hand pain. So trying to be responsible and good and take a rest, but you know, my maker brain, my crafty heart still needs to like focus on something. So I've been busy and I've accumulated some things. I have a lot of plans to talk through with y'all. So yeah, let's jump into everything. So you can find me on Ravelry and on Instagram, also at What Mariel Made. So if you want to kind of stay in touch or stay up to date more in real time with what I'm making and what I'm doing, go follow me, find me probably on Instagram. Ravelry too, I usually update pretty well. But yeah, all right. I do have some finished objects to run by y'all, both knitted items. So one of them I don't have with me because it was a gift knit. Both of these are gift knits actually. I made a pair of DK weight socks for a dear friend like across the country who is celebrating a big milestone. I wanted to be able to make her something and yeah, just send her my love through a knitted object. And so yeah, I figured knitting her a pair of socks would be really nice. She does live in like a colder climate, or you know, when they have colder seasons, she'll definitely be able to use some hand knit wool socks. So yeah, the details for all of those in terms of like the numbers of stitches and stuff, I didn't follow a pattern. I just kind of made my own recipe as I went on. She has similar sized feet to me, so I kind of just used my feet to measure as I went. But the yarn that I used, actually, I still have some left over here. This is the main color I used. This is Barocco Ultra Wool. I forgot the exact color, but again, it's on Ravelry, and it's honestly more like a worsted weight. Actually, this is Ultra Wool DK, but it is, I feel like, on the heavier side of DK. It could be like light worsted, but yeah, it's in this like really nice mousy neutral brown color. And then I held that as my main, and then I did two like sporty stripes of this like really bright poppy red, which is Kelborn Woolen's Perennial Yarn Base, which is a fingering weight like alpaca sock yarn. And I held that double in the color Vermilion, I think. I had like two mini skeins of it, so I thought the colors would pop nicely against each other and just add like a nice modern twist to the socks. So yeah, I hope she loves them. This Ultra Wool DK is superwash, and the Kelborn Woolen's Perennial Base, I believe, is also machine washable, maybe. So, but yeah, that's the first finished object. Really enjoyed making those. Pretty quick to knit up as well because of the DK weight nature of them. So that is the first finished object. The second finished object I have right here, this is for a friend who recently, probably in the past 2 weeks, maybe a week ago actually, from when I'm filming this, had her first baby. And so I've been like excitedly anticipating making something for baby. My friend didn't ask me at all. I realized with gift knits, I need to just make them as I feel moved by the spirit, the crafty spirit. Otherwise, I end up resenting whoever I make a gift for. Just because I like to use my crafty time to selfishly make things I want to make, and not be beholden to like deadlines and stuff. Anyway, this is the blanket. I'll show you, like, there will definitely be like up close B-roll of this blanket, but let me tell you a little bit about it. I did not follow a pattern. I kind of made my own recipe here. It is pre-blocked, but I don't anticipate it changing that much post-block, so I figured I'd show you now before I package it up and mail it away. What to say, what to say. This is the yarn I used. This is also Barocco. This is their modern cotton base, which is described online as a worsted weight yarn, but I honestly think it's more of like a DK weight yarn. But this is 60% cotton, 40% rayon, modal rayon, modal viscose, and the color is 1627 Dell. And this comes in 100 gram skeins. I got mine from Woolen Company, got the free winding as well, especially with a plant-based yarn. And for 100 grams or 3.5 ounces, you get 209 yards or 191 meters. So yeah, I would consider this more of a worsted weight. I mean, well, yeah, I guess worsted weight. But as I was like feeling it, it felt more like a DK. Anyway, they do have also online a modern cotton DK weight, which I feel like would be maybe more like a sport weight, but maybe it blooms a little bit with blocking. But all that being said, this yarn is lovely. I do plan on getting more of this. The stitch pattern is listed on Ravelry for what I did exactly. And I'm also thinking of making like a short video just to like explain the texture. There's similar videos on YouTube, which is where I got some of my inspiration. But yeah, I really enjoyed having this to knit on. I will say though, like I did want to get this done sooner than later, only because I wanted to be able to like give it to my friend like pretty soon after she had her baby. But knitting blankets is a lot of knitting. It's like as much knitting as a sweater, depending on like what size sweaters you're knitting most of the time. So I don't think I'll be knitting many more sweater or blankets moving forward, unless they're for like really, really special people like myself or like nieces and nephews in the future. Maybe, maybe not. But this yarn is so good because, especially for people who live in warmer climates, since it's Pima and rayon blend, like the fibers have a nice smoothness to them. It's not really shiny. There is like a slight sheen to the yarn, but it's not shiny. And I mean, you can see it's like kind of catching the light nicely with this texture, and it has like a nice weight to it as well. But because it still has that cooling feel, if you know, you know, I feel like I grew up in this like in pretty warm climates, and so I kind of know like what feels good to have as a blanket. But yeah, I figure this would be a really nice thing to have. And again, like baby knits are so cute, like baby clothing is so cute, but if I'm gonna be spending time knitting something for a friend's baby specifically, I kind of want them to have something they can use a little longer, a little more like be a little more flexible and not so time bound. And so yeah, I will make sure to put my final measurements up on Ravelry as well, but I can hold this up to you and show you. I ended up just making like a square shape, mainly because I was kind of done knitting this by the time I was done with the third ball. But I did only use 300 grams. I got 4 balls just in case. I wasn't exactly sure like how big I would want to make the blanket, so I got a 4th ball. So this may turn into something different later. But yeah, this blanket is perfect. I was thinking of adding a border, but honestly, because it's essentially a ribbed texture all the way around, like the edges, especially post-blocking, will lay flat. And it's honestly a pretty clean finish, so very, very pleased. This color is perfect. My friends always love this like butter yellow color as well, so it's kind of butter yellow is like, it's like the season of butter yellow things, and yeah, I'm just really excited to gift this to her. Yeah, package it up and gift it to her and baby. So I should also say that this texture, if you know how to knit and you know how to purl, you can make this blanket. This is not hard at all. And honestly, it's a really great like just TV knit if you are not committed to like, or if you're not sure exactly what to do next, or you don't want to start like a huge, big, complicated project. I say just cast one of these on and have it going. I honestly might do that just so I have like a blanket on hand if I need to gift one to somebody close to me, or if I just want to like have one for the future. I'm so pleased with this. So yeah, that's the basket weave butter yellow baby blanket. I also did want to say, sorry, I keep thinking of things. Because this is a plant-based yarn, I tried 2 different methods of joining in plant yarn, because if I show you up close, this yarn is made up out of 6 plies, multiple plies, you can see. It can get a little splitty, but it's honestly not that bad, and it's so smooth, like it kind of just glides. But I tried 2 methods. One method was from a recent Wool and Beyond like Instagram reel. She showed how she kind of splits the plies and will start weaving in the different ends as she's knitting, and then like weaves in ends at the very end and trims them. I think that leaves a really clean finish, and it doesn't impact the texture of your finished fabric too much. So that was the first method I tried, and then the second time I joined for my 3rd ball, I think I just found like a random, I was just Googling and looking on YouTube for random ways to like join plant-based yarns, different methods, and I ended up trying out a method where you split the plies for the end of your existing ball and then your new ball, and then you braid the different plies together, and then trim the ends, but you use the braided kind of new joined area as you're knitting. And that one was more convenient in that there were less ends to weave in, but it did impact the texture. It created like a slightly bumpy texture for the like 2 or 3 stitches that I was, using the braided piece for. For this project, I think that braided option for joining is better because it's such a textured piece anyway. You're not gonna like be able to tell. But if this were like a mostly stockinette project, or like a smaller project where I could see the difference in texture and I didn't want to have that, then I would maybe stick with the first method I mentioned from Wool and Beyond. So I'll be sure to link those in the description, but yeah, just wanted to note that if you have a favorite way of joining plant-based yarns, I'm not like a huge fan of just like tying a knot. So if you have ways you prefer to do it other than tying knots, let us know in the comments. Please share the wealth, share the knowledge. I do want to also say, within each ball that I got, I did find one, like, from the yarn producer, there was 1 knot in each ball. But overall, I've run into more knots in a ball of yarn before, so it didn't bug me that much, and I just left them. I didn't like cut the knot out and reattach. I just kind of left it in, again, because this blanket is so textured and you won't really be able to tell. And I trust that knot more than my own, so yeah. That is the second finished object. Very, very nice. Very, very pleased. Moving into works in progress, knitting-wise. I'm going to start with one that I started that I am going to frog, because I believe this is the thing that hurt my arm the most and kept me from knitting. And it is this. It's really pretty though, and I'm kind of sad, but I honestly don't think I'm gonna finish it. I don't want it that bad. So this is the Petal Drop, let's see, what is this called? Yeah, the Petal Drop Camisole by Florence Miller, using 1 strand knitting for olive cotton merino and navy, using 3mm needles. I was really inspired because I saw somebody's version of this, Priya. I forget her exact handle, but she wore hers recently on Instagram in this like really pretty butter yellow color, or cream color, I think, and I was like enthralled by the idea of making one, and so I cast this one on pretty spontaneously and started knitting on it, but it's fingering weight lace work, and I thought the fingering weight would be okay. Like, I didn't think it would hurt my hands and my arms as much, but it does. I think because it's such a small gauge and I'm like focused on the lace, so it's an easy lace pattern, but it's just not worth it to me right now. So I think I'm going to repurpose this yarn for something else. I'll probably hold it double to make a different, and combine it with some other yarn to make like another warm weather knit. But that is getting frogged soon, mainly just because I don't have the patience for it. And then the next work in progress I have is, this is kind of a long work in progress that I cast on between now and the last time I posted a video, but this is the Brösarp, I don't know exactly how to say it, Brösarp Dress by Wool & Beyond, free pattern alert. It's great, super cute, like basic short mini cotton yarn, plant-based yarn dress. It's kind of like the style of like a tank dress. Kind of gave me the vibes of like Jerf Avenue a year or two ago in the summer. They had these like tank dresses that were really popular, and the original Brösarp pattern has a lot of texture incorporated into it, like pretty basic texture, but it's like all down the body of the mini dress. I eliminated the texture and I decided to make the straps a contrast color, and so this is what I have so far. And I have kind of yet to, I'm like basically at the point where I just need to finish off the body hem, which I think I'm going to do following a separate YouTube tutorial down below. I'm going to use the same method that I used to finish a test knit that I did a few months ago for 100 Acre Wool. Just where you like switch to a smaller needle size, you knit a little bit of stockinette, you knit a purl ridge, and then you keep knitting, and then you fold over and bind off your knitting to make like a really nice finished like double-sided hem, or double thick hem. So I think I'm gonna do that soon. And the straps are pretty long right now. I kind of went off gauge because I'm using a bunch of stash yarn, so I wasn't really sure how closely to follow the pattern. But again, it's like the whole body stockinette. It was pretty basic in terms of just making the body. The straps were not too hard to do either. They are all double knit though, so they're very, like, the finish is really nice. It did take, more time to do these straps because they were double knit, but honestly, like, I feel like the instructions are pretty straightforward, and yeah, I would make this again. I would definitely make it again also in like just as like a tank top. Maybe make the straps a little thicker. You know me, I love a good modification, so yeah. The yarn that I used for the straps, this like dusty blue color, is San Escarlina in color number 6061, and then the cream colored yarn for the body is this like cone of linen, like lace weight linen yarn from Lucy's Linen. I got this from Amazon long time ago. And then I'm also holding it together with a stash Kramer yarn sock and sock yarn in the color First Tooth. Had a bunch of this left over from that baby sweater I made last or 2 episodes ago. And so I'm holding those two together, and I believe I'm using a 4mm needle. So my gauge is a little off, but I didn't want the fabric to be too see-through. I also think this will mainly be like a beach swimsuit cover-up vibe. I don't think I'll be able to wear this like normally because, yeah, it's just kind of open, and I'll probably just end up wearing it around the house. I did want to show y'all, this is a swatch I made also with the yarn, the cream yarns held together, because I wanted to test the gauge, and this is blocked. I was also playing with the idea of like doing eyelets or doing a project with eyelets, so yeah, that's the swatch. But yeah, so that's what the finished fabric will look like on the dress. Very pleased with that. That is the Brösarp dress. And that is the only other like active whip that needs to be finished. I do have one project that I'm planning to cast on today. I tried casting it on yesterday, but I kind of ran out of steam and I was having trouble with the gauge, so I decided to just wait till today. I'm going to use, finally, my linen quill in Vintage Celadon from Pearl Soho. This is a fingering weight, like wool alpaca linen blend yarn. I have 2 skeins of this, each 100 grams, and my plan for this is to make a ranunculus for my mom. It's my first time making a ranunculus. I'm very excited at the process of it, since a lot of folks love making the ranunculus. I just don't think I would wear one personally. Who knows, maybe I will someday, but I don't really need one or want one in this color right now, so my mom has expressed interest, and so I do plan on making one. And I am going to make it holding this just single-stranded because I want it to be really airy and light, especially with summer, basically, here around the corner. And yeah, so stay tuned I'll report back on how I like the ranunculus and how I figure out gauge and all that stuff, but whoops, excited for that. Oh, dropped it. All right, I will stay on the topic of fiber real quick because I do have a spinning update. All right, so, okay, I just got up. Catch my breath. Real quick, I have a bunch of fiber in my stash. I even got some more fiber recently because somebody I know was downsizing their stash, so hopefully I stick with the spinning thing through the summer and I can work through some of my fiber stash. But I recently finished spinning some Corriedale combed top that I got last year at this point, probably a year ago at this point, from an Etsy seller called BZB Fibers. And this is the finished product. It's this beautiful natural, like dark brown and white fiber. It's really beautiful. Like there's some like barber pole striping that's happening, but yeah, let me tell you how this went. My wheel that I use is an e-spinner. I have the electric eel wheel Nano 2.0 from the Dreaming Robots company, and I did this is a two-ply yarn, and I already washed and thwacked, set the twist, and wet finished this yarn properly, and both of these are dried now. The finished specs are, it's not perfectly, there's definitely some like thick and thin bits, some fluffier bits, but generally speaking, I got 14 wraps per inch, which equates to about a fingering weight yarn, which is great. So these will definitely become some socks. And the total grams that I got from both of these is around 85 grams. So very, very pleased with how this turned out. I did have a little bit of a single left over, and so I actually tried my hand at spinning or chain plying, just to like try it out because I've been curious about the process of chain plying. So I haven't finished that yarn. That's still on its bobbin, but I'll report back. But it was just like a little bit left of one of the singles that I had left over. But yeah, I'm very pleased with how this turned out. I wanted to show y'all some of the new tools that I used to spin this yarn as well, or to finish it. And so first I'll show you, this is my DIY Lazy Kate that I used. This is like a thrifted coated wire basket that I literally thrifted like a month or two ago, and it was holding some yarn in my last video, I think, but I was considering, just like hacking together a Lazy Kate with like another Amazon box and some chopsticks and stuff, and I'm still using chopsticks, but then I realized I could just use this basket because it stands up on its side. It stands up on its side like this, and I just used some rubber bands to secure these chopsticks in place, and it's just like the perfect size for holding two full bobbins of my single ply. If I rearrange this, it could even fit maybe three bobbins if I wanted to do like a traditional 3-ply even, but that's my lazy Kate. And then I did recently also get a new Nitty Naughty. This is just from Amazon, but and it's one of those like 3D printed ones, but I really like this because it comes technically with like 3 different lengths, but this is the full like 2-yard like length if you're measuring the like yardage of your fiber at the your yarn at the very end. But these parts also come apart. And then so if I'm only going to do like a test spin and I'm only making like a small amount of yarn, this is a 1/2 yard or 1 yard. It's on the actual, if you intend on buying it, it shows you all the details. But yeah, it's pretty adjustable, and it's obviously very compact and easy to store away when I don't need it. But yeah, it's very sturdily made, good quality. I mean, it's plastic, so there's that, but yeah, I think I will use this forever because my other DIY Nitty Naughty is kind of coming apart and it wasn't very well crafted by me using my Home Depot supplies from last time. So glad to have this, and we'll definitely keep using this moving forward. That's it for the spinning update. I don't have any other spins or things planned for right now. I'm actually trying to coordinate with a friend to see if maybe she wants to try her hand at this e-spinner and see if she wants to borrow it. So I think I'm just going to keep it free for now. Maybe pick it up again with some other fiber later. Okay, quick thoughts on the Nano 2.0. It's a great e-spinner to start out with, especially if you're just kind of curious and you don't want to like throw a bunch of money down. This e-spinner I think is around $125, $130 USD right now, which in the world of spinners, like e-spinners especially, is pretty good. But it is a bit small. I do think if I stick with this spinning thing and I'm not ready to invest like $500+ in like a larger manual spinning wheel, or even like they do sell the full sized version of this e-spinner for around $300, I think. So if I do continue to stick through it with spinning, I think I would consider getting the larger size, the full size, because yeah, it's very well made, lots of resources for how to use it and adjust as needed, and having all the extra like capacity to handle more fiber at once and, you know, potentially even like spin a sweater's quantity of yarn someday. I think that would be really nice. So yeah, just my thoughts, but would recommend this e-spinner for curious newbies who are okay spinning smaller amounts of fiber. It's perfect for sock yarn spinning. Yeah, so finally we have some sewing acquisitions and sewing plans. Oh, I did realize I'll put in some clips. I do have a sewing finished object. I made the Romy top by Tessuti Fabrics, I believe. I made size 6, which is the first size, and I used a bunch of stash, like random stash linen I had from something, and then the like lining I made or the interfacing I used an old white bed sheet, but yeah, really enjoyed the process of making that, and I made that when I was having, you know, some knitting related pain coming up a little bit more, so I switched to sewing, which is way more gentle on my body. Yeah, and kind of got into a sewing spree. And so, yeah, would definitely recommend the Romy top. And then I also got a couple more fabrics. These are both from Etsy. They're from a shop called Sincerely Laura, who is based out of Washington State. And they were both on sale, so I got 3 yards of each. The first fabric I got, and I've washed it already, so it's a little crinkled, but this is a woven they're both woven fabrics, but this one is a woven cotton and bamboo blend. And it's just like nice neutral-ish, mauve-y, purpley, pinky color. I thought this would be nice for a day dress top or just like a full day dress, DAE, from Soften Studio, or even just a skirt or like a top and a skirt. I already have the day dress pattern. I've actually just like put it together and cut it out and everything. I just haven't committed to like using and cutting out fabric for it yet, so I may do that with this. And then the other fabric I got is a really fun striped woven cotton. This is from the Fabulism House That Lars Built collab that happened maybe last summer, I think. But I just really like this fabric, the stripe. I love a woven fabric, and I love a stripe. Anyone who knows me knows I love a stripe. I love neutral stripes. And I don't think I'll be even making this, but I did have some like pieces of inspiration that helped me decide to pick this fabric. The designer behind Paper Theory has a PJ, the Agnes PJ set or PJ shirt pattern, which she hacked herself into like a midi length dress, and she used a striped fabric, kind of similar width stripes as this, and it looks so good. But the stripes are in like a brown and a black color. But I don't really feel like, buying a new pattern and then like figuring out how to do a button-down shirt, because I'm still kind of a newbie. I'm like a confident newbie beginner sewist in terms of my skill level, so probably won't make that. I just thought that was a really cool concept and really cool dress design. And then the other design that I saw that I contemplated and still might play with the idea of doing it is there's a brand called Curator SF, and they have this skirt called the Jessie skirt, I think, and it's a really pretty, like kind of a feminine silhouette where it's a gathered skirt, but it has a piece at the top, like the first tier is it dips down into a little bit of a point, and then it has like a fuller gathered skirt, and I just love how it's been styled on the website. The stripes may be a bit thicker, than this, so I don't know if this would give the same look or effect, but I also don't know like exactly how I would prefer to wear these stripes yet. Definitely vertically, I think. Maybe a mix, like play with horizontal and vertical in like a dress, or make some pants, or make some sort of top. I think a nice robe in this type of fabric would be really nice, but like how often am I wearing a robe? Not very often. So we'll see what happens here, but I just really like this fabric. Even a pillowcase would be really nice, so I'll keep you updated there. And I believe that's it for sewing and fabric stuff. Before I jump into like miscellaneous favorites and media favorites, I did want to make a fun little announcement. Later this month in June, I am collaborating with Kalina from Kalina Makes on Instagram to host another Cal or knit along, and this one it's going to be called I Make Sweaters, the I Make Sweaters knit along, or the I Make Sweaters Cal. And essentially both Kalina and I definitely have like a heart for the knitting community, specifically like beginner knitters. And as like a recently beginner knitter a few years ago myself, I definitely have like a special heart for evangelizing the art and the beauty of knitting and getting people into it. And so this Cal is dedicated to mainly new beginner knitters, but we want to open it up to include both more seasoned knitters and new knitters to attempt to bring the community together and help new knitters specifically make their first sweater or sweater for one of the first times. So yeah, I will put the graphic up here. The announcement should probably be out by the time this video comes out, and yeah, we're just announcing it for now. There is going to be a lot of fun things that Colina and I have in store for this. We're hoping to do some office hours, like some live office hours where we can maybe like help some folks like get through their questions or figure out what pattern or what yarn to use for their sweaters. And then most of this cal will also be hosted on Slack. So if you want to join, if you have the heart, or feel moved to participate, please join us on Slack. All of the details will be in the Instagram post. And yeah, it's going to be really fun. It officially starts June 20th, the first day of summer, and it will end on the first day of fall. And we will definitely have some fun prizes, which will be announced later as well. So please join us if you want. If you don't want to, that's fine as well. But yeah, also if you have anyone in your life who is like really eager or curious about knitting and maybe you don't want to be the one to teach them how to like hold their hand the whole way through, let them know that this cal's happening. Colina has a really great ebook that she just put out. It's $8 USD, and she puts in a lot of like tips and tricks for how to navigate knitting your first sweater. I'm also planning on making a video or two explaining my process a little bit more, like how I use Ravelry as a tool, and yeah, just some things like that. So yeah, new cal on the horizon. Keep an eye out for more, and that's it. Okay, time for two random favorites per usual. The first one is another skincare acne prone for my acne prone girlies out there. This is the Skin Smart Antimicrobial Facial Cleanser Spray. I heard about this through Lynn here on YouTube, and I feel like her skin's always glowing. Even though she'll have like a breakout here and there, but like her skin is really, really nice. And I do struggle with acne usually like around definitely on the side that I sleep on, like on my right side. And then I usually get a lot of acne around my chin and around my mouth. And so I figured I would just try this. It definitely could use like better packaging. But the way I use this essentially is I use it like a toner. So after I cleanse my face, both in the morning and at night, I'll spray this on, let it soak in and dry before putting on my moisturizer and sunscreen or my night cream in the evening. And I do feel like it's been helping a little bit. So yeah, feel free to try this. It kind of smells... It has definitely like a chemical, almost chlorine-like smell to it, but the ingredients are ionized water, sodium chloride, hypochlorous acid, and hypochlorite ion. Yeah, definitely, approach this with caution. This bottle is pretty large. It's 8 fluid ounces, and it was around $17 USD. So, I mean, I was willing to kind of gamble and try it out. I also see on here that they recommend people use this, like also if you maybe work out a lot and you don't always have access to like shower or wash your face. This could be good for those use cases as well. So that's my first random favorite. My second random favorite is a thrift find. I went thrifting recently with my mom because we both love thrifting, and she treated me to these items. But in the kitchen section, I found a pair of copper fish molds, which I don't plan on using to cook anything, but I do plan on using these for decor in the future. This one has a really pretty patina already on it. So cute. And then the second one looks a little less aged. These were both $1.99, but I ended up getting the pair. There was a sale happening, and I ended up getting the pair for $1. So each of these was only 50 cents. But yeah, I thought these were so cute. Just like stacked one on top of another in like in a kitchen. My kitchen right now is kind of small and awkward, and I don't really want to add extra stuff to the walls. That will just make my kitchen look messier. So these will definitely live in a future home, but I just thought they were so cute, and they reminded me of like Julia Child kitchen vibes. But yeah, just imagine those two on a wall. So cute. Okay, finally I have 3 media favorites. One is a audiobook that I've been listening to mainly on my commutes. And while spinning, I was listening to this too. That was nice. It's the book Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell. Rainbow Rowell, the only other book I've read is the YA novel called Eleanor and Park, which was really good. I recommend that too if you haven't read it. But yeah, Slow Dance has been really nice to listen to. It's essentially kind of like, I guess it's kind of romance. I would also consider it definitely like an adult fiction, but it covers the story of 2 like childhood high school friends who they like reunite after 14 years and life has happened, and their dynamic kind of, they revisit their old dynamic but now as like older people, and it's kind of messy, but it's also really good. And I think I'm about 3/4 of the way through right now, but it's been really good. So if you're looking for that kind of vibe, it's like a little sad, a little wistful feeling, but also kind of cute and warm. But yeah, but a little sad. So if you're looking for that in an ebook or in an audiobook, check out Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell. And then there's 2 TV shows I either finished watching or I'm watching now. Gotta call out Love Island season 7 for my reality TV people. Yeah. If you know, you know. I was there when episode 1 was supposed to air, and it was late, and everyone was freaking out, and it was really funny, but also, yeah, I was waiting for it to air, or for it to be released, so, yeah, but fully in it now. We'll see who comes out on the other side. And then the other show that I recently finished is on Prime Video, and it is called The Better Sister, and it is like an action, suspense, mystery of like whodunit, what happened. And it stars Jessica Biel and Elizabeth Banks, and they play estranged sisters who are brought together because there is a murder. Someone dies, and you kind of have to figure out what happened throughout the whole season. It kind of, honestly, it's like a more serious version of Bad Sisters, just in like, the context is New York City and the Hamptons. So, yeah. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. Jessica Biel is just like such a beautiful person, and she makes me want to like be fit, and like she just looks so fit and I want to be fit like her. She just looks so strong and healthy. Anyway, The Better Sister on Prime Video. Check it out if that feels like your cup of tea. And I think that is it for me today. Yeah. Thank you for always coming back. Please subscribe. That would really help my channel out. And yeah, I really appreciate y'all here. We've also recently reached 3,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for being here and for wanting to come back and watch. Can't believe there's 3,000 of y'all that want to just talk mainly knitting stuff with me. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate you all. And yeah, as always, let me know what's on your making mind, what things you're excited to make. let me know if you have any other like warm weather knit projects you're excited to do or excited to start. I'm like constantly on the lookout for them these days. Ooh, I do want to say that I do think, we'll see. I really have been trying to work from stash, but, and if I buy, it's for a gift, but I really like this modern cotton from Barocco so much that I want to get it in black and white and make an Olga sweater. I think that would be so nice and like such a classic piece. So I might actually make that my Cal project. But again, we'll see what happens. But yeah, let me know what you're making. Let me know what's bringing you joy. Let me know if you have any book or TV show recommendations as well. Would love to hear. Always looking to add things to the list. But yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Bye!